And we're back with another edition of Rage in a Cage with Bam Bam and Schwaggs. I'm Frank Bam Bam Horak. With me, as always, is Mikey Schwaggs.
Hey Frank, how's it going?
It's going good, Mike. And this is our third segment today. We haven't mentioned our producer, Tough Tony.
If you're wondering why he hasn't said anything or spoken, it's because he's not here.
Not here yet again. So
big surprise,
Tough Tony is no longer Tough Tony. It's Tony No Show.
Tony No Show. You've been
or
dubbed a
Soft
new
Tony,
nickname.
whichever you want to call him.
So get used to it, Tony No Show.
Tony No Show, yeah.
That's what you will be known as.
So we're running things on our own again, and we're doing a pretty
smash
average job.
I think we're doing pretty good.
We're doing good, absolutely.
Well, I'm running things. You're not doing anything, really. You're just sitting here looking
the
like
whole
a giant
show.
lime.
Giant lime. Listen, easy does it with the giant lime stuff.
Come on,
you look like Harry Potter if he's a hobo.
Ow! You think a hobo would wear this?
I think he might.
This is cashmere.
Cashmere. You're not helping your case there, fella. All right, anyway, let's get off the wardrobe and let's get into...
No, I want to get into something first before we get into any of this.
I was hoping you were going to forget this.
No, I was not going to forget this.
All right.
For those of you who are just joining us, if you go back to one of our previous shows, we talked about the new hirings of a couple of NFL coaches. Dennis Allen, I'm sure Anthony will remember that guy forever,
yes.
and Chuck Pagano.
Chuck Pagano, it's my boy.
And I went on to talk about Pagano being hired, being defensive-minded and all,
yes.
And the Colts hadn't had a defensive-minded coach in a while. And then Frank just went on a little rampage, as I'll call it.
I wouldn't say a rampage.
Claiming that the Colts have had a defensive-minded coach in Jim Caldwell because he took over as head coach.
What?
And he was the defensive coordinator. Right, Frank?
I believe I said that, yes. Everyone, makes a mistake here and there.
No, that's fine, yeah. You make a mistake.
No, I'm only human.
I'm always here to point that mistake out. And, in fact, I believe he was the offensive coordinator.
Which is hard to believe because usually, when you think the Colts, Peyton runs the offense and whoever the head coach is.
Well, why do you think Peyton was so mad when Caldwell got fired? Yeah, that's what I thought. And another thing you went on to say is Caldwell, they went 2-14 this year.
Yes.
And, it's because they didn't have Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning does not play defense, Frank. The defense was 31st in the league this year. And
when you have
I want to get into something.
Hold on a second, fella.
Before you go in there, let me get my whole thing out.
That's what she said.
Keep it appropriate.
I'm sorry.
The Colts, before Caldwell was hired, number 3rd ranked defense in the league. And I'm not talking about yards allowed. I'm talking about total points.
Tony Dungy, though, was a defensive
I'm talking about total
coach.
points. Okay. Then Caldwell, they went from 3rd to 7th. The next year to 11th. The year after that to 17th. And to this year, 29th.
All right. But you have to look at that 29th, though. Peyton Manning's a big reason for that because with no quarterback, they had no offense. The defense was always on the field.
Okay.
At least with Peyton, he puts together these great drives, no huddle, up and down the field, scoring touchdowns.
All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt with that.
That one, yeah, boom. Boom. Stick to the beauty on that one.
Benefit of the doubt on that one, but regardless, you still claim that.
All right, it was an honest mistake. When you think Colts, Peyton runs the offense, head coach runs the defense like Dungy and Peyton had. I assume Caldwell was the same. It was an honest mistake. Things happen.
We'll let it slide.
Let's move on now.
We'll let it slide and we'll move on.
Let's talk.
I just wanted to get that out.
All right, we had 2 All-Star games yesterday. We had the Pro Bowl for the NFL, the NHL
I don't think you would
All-Star
necessarily
game.
Call the Pro Bowl an All-Star game.
I will not at all. I cannot stand the Pro Bowl. I don't think it should
Now tell me why you don't like the Pro Bowl.
Oh, all right.
You got a lot of reasons.
So many reasons. Let's just put it. I watched it for 5 minutes yesterday. I love football, so I had to at least put it on. I tried to watch it, but it's horrible. It's basically a glorified 2-hand touch backyard game. You can't. There's no pass rush. You can't do anything to the quarterback at all. Guys are just laughing.
Intentional grounding is legal.
Yeah, intentional grounding is legal.
And it's actually encouraged.
You had Clay Matthews, the one part of the game I watched, intercepts the ball from Roethlisberger, and then they start flipping the ball backwards, playing games. Everyone's laughing. It's a glory. I know but still, what's the point of having the game at all?
It's supposed to be a fun game.
Yeah, but at least these other All-Star games, they take it somewhat seriously.
Well, that's because they have something on the line.
Well, really, just baseball is the only one that has it on the line. The other two, basketball and hockey, really don't. There's nothing on the line. Baseball,
they get money. They get paid.
Well, you get paid with Pro Bowl too.
That is
So
true.
they should get rid of it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Especially when they have it too the week before the Super Bowl.
Well, I think
even
if
if
it
they
was
had it the
back,
week after, it still doesn't make sense to me.
even if it was back to the week after, I think it would be better, more enjoyable, maybe.
I just more enjoyable. I just can't see it being enjoyable. It's just
I would like to.
I mean, there's some fun aspects of it,
Maybe-
I guess, but I would rather them
Would
just
you
get
like
rid
to
of
see
it.
them implement the same thing that they do for the NHL All-Star Game with the fantasy draft? I think that would make things interesting.
That's
what makes the NHL All-Star
Let's
Game
talk about the
watchable,
NHL,
at least.
because no one ever talks about the NHL, and they should.
I
So
love
let's
how
talk-
they do that. That's the smartest
Let's
thing
talk
to do
about
for
the
it.
All-Star Game first. Yes, in my opinion, it's the best All-Star Game because of that fact. You pick 2 captains, and then you have a fantasy draft. I like that. I think that's a great idea. I could see them
They should do
doing
that
it
for
with
basketball.
With basketball, you can do it for pretty much every sport. I guess not. You can't do it for baseball because that really means something with home field advantage in the World
Yeah,
Series.
that you can't.
So you can't mess with that. But for the other two, the other sports where it doesn't really mean anything, yeah, fantasy sports is obviously huge. So why not? It's fun for the fans. It's fun for the players. When you have teammates playing against each other. Last year you had the Sedin brothers playing against each other. It just makes it fun.
Yeah.
So I love the hockey All-Star Game, the way they do it, the fantasy draft. And now let's get into a little NHL because no one ever talks about it.
And you love talking about NHL. You're a big NHL fan.
I'm a big hockey fan.
Big hockey guy.
Let's all go a little. We're at the mid. Obviously, the All-Star Game in hockey that signifies the midpoint of the
It's
season.
not really middle of the season though. It's kind of after
Well,
the middle.
technically, it's
They
the
always
middle.
do that with the
I know.
All-Star
I don't know
Game.
why
I've
they
never
do it,
figured that
but
out.
they do it. So technically, it's the middle part of the season. So I'm going to give my mid-season report.
Okay.
So hit me with a couple of the questions, and I'll give you my grades, whatnot, and who I think.
Okay. All right. How about give me your coach of the year right now?
Coach of the year. Well, you can throw a lot of teams out there, a lot of coaches out there. John Tortorella with the Rangers done a great job, but I'm gonna have to give Mike Babcock of the Detroit Red Wings is my coach of the year right now of the
Red Wings are always
midway
up there.
part. Yeah, Red Wings are in first place. They're actually number 1 in all of NHL. They're ahead of the Rangers by a point in that. But as far as the Western Conference, yeah, the top team, and yeah, I'll give Mike Babcock is my coach of the year.
Okay. Now, how about your scorer of the year?
Well, top player / scorer of the year. There's so many to throw out there. I mean, Kessel's having a great year. Gabrick's having a great year. But I'm going to have to go with Steven Stamkos of the Tampa Bay
100%.
Lightning. He's just Tampa Bay, unfortunately for them this
They're
year,
not good.
they're not good. But it's not because of Stamkos. I mean, I think he's got 32 goals already, which is ridiculous. He's just an unbelievable player. So I'll go with Stamkos.
Now, how about your best team in the Western Conference?
Well, like I just mentioned, how Detroit's number 1 right now. But I think when it's all said and done, actually, I have the Chicago Blackhawks. I think will be in the Stanley Cup, and I think they will be the best team in the Western Conference.
I like Detroit.
Well, it's tough to argue with Detroit, but I think like I said, I think with Kane and Taves and all these other
Young guys.
young great team, I go with the Chicago Blackhawks.
And they've been there before.
Yeah.
And they've won. So, how about your best team in the Eastern Conference? And I don't even know why I'm asking because I think I already know the answer.
Well, listen, trying to be unbiased and trying to look at it as objectively as possible, I did my research, and I'm going to have to go with the New York Rangers as the best team in the Eastern Conference, and I also see them going to the Stanley Cup Finals. An interesting fact, actually, talking about that All-Star game, Marian Gaborik was the MVP of the All-Star. Last time the Rangers had an MVP was Mike Richter. And, that year was 94.
Look at the information you're dropping here. Somebody came prepared.
94 was the last time the Rangers had an MVP, and I think they won the Stanley Cup in 94. So it might be a good omen, as they say.
I think
they say
that's
that.
interesting.
So, yeah, I like the Rangers. I think it's going to be.
Means bad.
Is that what? Well, I think that's not what I mean. But I have the Rangers and the Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup. I think and I think obviously I think the Rangers will win that because they have the best goaltender in my opinion in hockey, and Henrik Lundqvist.
Yes.
So
the Swede.
So it's going to be a great couple of months of hockey. I think.
And when the playoffs with hockey come around, it really doesn't get any better.
Playoff
hockey is
absolutely
some of the best
can't
hockey
go wrong.
you'll
No,
ever see.
there's a lot of great teams this year. I mean, not only the Rangers, you got the Bruins, you got the Flyers. In the Western Conference, you got the Red Wings, you got the Blues, you got the Blackhawks. It's going to be very interesting.
What about the Islanders? Are the Islanders in there anywhere?
They're actually making a little bit of a push. They're actually looking like somewhat of a NHL team right now, but I don't see them going anywhere.
They're a young team. Give them time.
Yeah, give them. That's what
Give
I
them
hear
time.
that year after
They're a
year.
young
They're a
team.
young team. Hey,
They have
some solid
talent.
players. Tavares, Molson, they got some solid.
They got some young
but
players. They don't have a goalie. That's what's killing them.
No, they don't have.
They need a goalie. You're not winning games with Juan Pablo Montoya playing that.
They need a couple of things. But I'm glad we got some hockey out of the way, because hockey, it drives me nuts when when we're in New York.
You can't find anybody talking about it.
Yeah, we're in New York, and locally when you turn on one of the sports stations, they never talk about hockey, and they should, because hockey's a great sport.
It is.
So I'm glad we talked about it.
You get a little angry over here.
I'm not angry. I'm happy that we talked about it.
No, but I see you get a little mad that nobody talks about
it. Well, they
should
talk about it, for God's sakes. But anyway, that's what we're here for. You never hear MMA on the radio, and you never hear hockey. Tune into Rage in a Cage. That's what we're here for.
That's all you hear.
Absolutely.
So as I mentioned, not making sense.
Yeah. Well, hey,
looking like a giant line.
That's a given. We'll see. Anyway, we have now our next show. We have plenty things to talk about. We got the biggest game of the year, Super Bowl 46.
Cannot wait.
Patriots against the Giants. We're going to break that down. In-depth analysis. We're going to really get into that.
We might have 2 shows on that.
We might have 2 shows, absolutely. We're going to really get into that. And then we also have another great UFC event coming up.
Can't wait for this one.
Condit Diaz. A bunch of great fights. Yeah, into the welterweight title on the line, and a bunch of other great fights as well. So we're going to be talking about that. So join us next time. This is Rage in a Cage with Bam Bam and Schwaggs.
We are out.